Several areas on the north coast of central Java experienced the phenomenon of tidal flooding until Tuesday, the 24th of May 2022 afternoon. Tidal flooding is a pattern of sea level fluctuations that are influenced by the attractive force of celestial bodies, especially by the moon and the sun against seawater masses on Earth. Among the areas experiencing tidal flooding are Pekalongan City, Tegal Regency, Brebes Regency, Pemalang Regency, Demak Regency, and Semarang City. Semarang is the area with the most severe tidal impact. This was caused by the breach of the seawater retaining embankment in the Tanjung Emas harbour area. A hydrologist at the Faculty of Geography said that there is no standard in the construction of embankments on the coast so far. There are also a lot of levees that were built in a modest way in Jakarta. The high tide this time is quite extreme compared to the tides of the last 5 years. 2017 to 2021, with the highest tide level in the range of plus 180 centimeters above sea level, but this time the sea level is plus 210 centimeters above sea level.
At least 19 children and 2 adults died in a mass shooting at a Texas elementary school, United States, on Tuesday, the 24th of May 2022. The shooter at Rob's SD was identified by officers as Salvador Ramos, and is believed to have acted alone. The 18-year-old entered the school after a shootout with authorities and earlier shot his grandmother. Authorities are still trying to gather evidence as to what prompted Ramos to commit America's worst stunt in a decade. The Texas elementary school shooting was one of the deadliest school shootings in the U.S. since a gunman killed 26 people, including 20 children, at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Connecticut in December 2012. While still in the same month, a mass shooting also occurred in Buffalo, New York, United States, killing 10 people on Saturday, the 14th of May 2022, in an attack carried out by an 18-year-old man suspected of having racial motives. Despite repeated mass shootings and waves of gun violence in the U.S., various initiatives to reform gun laws have failed in the Washington Congress. As a result, state and local councils have to enforce their own restrictions. The United States recorded 19,350 gun homicides in 2020, up nearly 35% compared to 2019.
A number of startup companies or startups have decided to terminate their employees. The more selective investors are one of the main reasons startups cut their operational costs by reducing the number of employees. The main problem for startup companies is a large budget. Currently, startup companies still depend on investors for funding to run their business. These large funds, among others, are needed for effective communication and publication, attract users with promos and discounts. There are 5 reasons why startups do layoffs. 1. Products that are unable to compete, thus losing market share significantly, considering that startups are currently popping up. 2. Startup companies are considered to have difficulty finding new funding due to investors being more selective in choosing companies. 3. Global macroeconomic factors are full of uncertainty, so investors avoid buying startup shares with high-risk perceptions. 4. The market is getting saturated and very sensitive to promos and discounts, where if the application does not provide discounts, users will decrease drastically. 5. With the further easing of the spread of COVID-19, people's activities are recovering, so that currently transactions are not only carried out online.
The eldest son of West Java Governor Ridwan Kamil, Emrul Khan Mumtaz, Eril, disappeared while swimming in the Aare River, Bern, Switzerland, on Thursday the 26th of May 2022. The chronology begins when Eril swims in the Aare River, Bern, with his sister and friends. When he wants to rise to the surface, Eril is dragged by a fairly swift river current and previously received help from his friend. The Aare River, Bern, Switzerland is 288 kilometers long. The Aare is the longest fully flowing river in Switzerland. Along his route, he meets many villages and towns, as well as meandering through various impressively beautiful landscapes. Switzerland's intangible cultural heritage. Since 2017, swimming in the Aare River has been included in the UNESCO tradition list, and is therefore part of Switzerland's intangible cultural heritage. The family sees, evaluates, and listens to the entire process that can be carried out in the search for Errol in the Aare River, Switzerland, stating, the 3rd of June 2022, sincerely, and believes that Errol has died from drowning.